All right, hello everybody. Hopefully the stream is working. I'm getting this error from darn YouTube that it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Hello Andre, welcome. What the heck is going on? Let me see. Is there an issue with the internet? Doesn't really look like it. Nope, I think it's a YouTube issue. So hopefully the quality is coming in okay. What I'm seeing in YouTube is a really big delay, I think. Let me know if you guys are getting a decent enough quality. Let me see. Can I? It is laggy. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. That's what you. I think there's some kind of thing going on with YouTube now. Um, it says it's a poor health stream status. I guess one thing that was different is that I played Diablo for like a few hours right before the stream, and after exiting it, starting Unreal took forever. So I think my old computer was just smoking from playing Diablo. Okay, is it better? Is it getting better now? I'm seeing like OBS seems to be looking a little bit better. It's this is in the green, and that message has disappeared, so I think it might be on the mend. Damn, my whole box is like it's really warm right now. The the whole case, my computer case. Oh well. So yeah, welcome to another stream. Apologies for that little hiccup. And I have a few updates of things that I was able to get done this week, and I'm hoping. It looks like I'm getting some pretty poor frame rate, and I'm only assuming this is just following. I think that uh, my 1070 is like was on fire from Diablo. I'm not sure if it's just me or if it's just not, you know, very well optimized. Okay, so hopefully we'll be able to run it. Last night this was not 20 frames per second. Oh my god, this is so terrible. Let me see if I can. What happens if I minimize some of these windows? Some of these open. Yeah, let's. Yeah, it's definitely something on my end. So a couple of the things that I was working on is I've been experimenting with the H-lots. As you can see, that message at the top. Let me turn down the volume. And yeah, last night this was at like 50 frames per second. So I guess I think my video card is catching up or something. It's cooling off maybe. But yeah, that was I was playing this last night, and it's like I said, it was like in the 50 frame per second range. I'm not sure what's going on right now. What do I think about Diablo? You know what? It's Diablo. It was nothing more, nothing less than what I expected. It seems to look a little bit better, but to me, it's more of just luckily the first act is available for free as beta, so win-win. I'm definitely not gonna pay $70 for it. I'm gonna wait for a heavy discount at some point. If it's like a year from now, 2 years from now, that's when I'm gonna get it. But I'm never gonna pay $70 for that. Um, I think they're like, I get it. Everything is getting more expensive, but I think at $60, games are already expensive. So um, yeah, but like I said, it was fun. I enjoyed Diablo. I enjoyed the other Diablos as well. It's fun. It's like I said, it didn't. I wasn't expecting anything else than what I got. Um, it's like seems like I said, it seems to be looking a little bit better than Diablo 3. Um, there's some kind of like the traversal of the terrain that gives you some options to like kind of slide down or go up something, but it just in particular like predefined locations, so it's not like it's dynamic in that way. But yeah. Anyways, so let me show you some of the latest updates. One of them is the way that oh, what the heck is happening here? Am I running into this issue again? Jeez Louise. Let me I guess I need to fix that real quick. So oh my god, my computer is just on its, I think, last breath or something. um, yeah, let me not show this because it's just horribly wrong. That frame rate is just not what I was getting last night, as I was saying. I think I think the computer is just kind of cooked right now, so it's probably not going to run as good. But let me fix whatever's happening with that character, because it is kind of weird what just went down. So if you are using ALS, just as a side note, there is this option once if you want to create a child class and you want to change the meshes that or add additional meshes for hands, arm, or like legs, pants, shoes, just a variety of things. So let me assign the anim blueprint here again. So there is a and what the heck is happening? This is totally weird. So there is a way that ALS is will transfer the animations, because if you remember, we had these kind of just set leader pose component for all the body parts. So with ALS, what it needs to have is in your mesh, I think it's under like visibility settings or something like that. So the visibility based anim tick option, I believe this is like a skeleton type of thing. So you want to always tick and refresh bones, because if you only do it when rendered, like that was the issue that I had last time. Somehow, I'm not sure what the engine did. It was that crash that I mentioned when I was trying to switch between the anim blueprints, where this it was, I believe, always tick pose, and it somehow got switched to only tick pose when rendered. And when I was hiding the mesh body, which is that anim man body, that's why when I had that hidden, it was not applying the animations. So once I switched it to always tick and refresh bones, even if it's hidden, then it worked fine. Now the problem that I'm running into now is, I think this one, I'm not sure why it got switched to the proxy. So let me try and switch it back to the anime, and there we go. Again, this is odd because, like I said, after I saved it last night, yeah, like I'm that was one of the things I saw the presentation, and that's one of the things that I'm like a little bit on the fence about, because I don't think I think there's still issues with 5.1.1, and I'm hoping they're fixed in 5.2, and that's why the release of 5.2, but I'm gonna be skeptical with that. Okay, so, but yeah, as far as the car simulations, I'll show you some of the car simulation that I have here with this one, and this is a marketplace assets. I believe it's called like the 1980 SUV, or like an SUV thing, and it's a good implementation of the vehicle system, though there's definitely things that it can also benefit from. The car simulation was this, but on a different level. This one is a very basic skeleton, and I'm only assuming the skeleton that they did for that Rivian SUV is just off the charts. Uh, like, there's probably so many bones for all the control arms and all the pieces of the vehicle that it's like a metahuman probably. I'm just guessing here, but everything can be done. It's nothing. What I'm interested in seeing is not necessarily because that was a really interesting thing to have a Rivian. The model looks amazing. Interior looks amazing, because yeah, it's like they said it's like what, 5 or 70 million polygon, or I can't remember. It was like a ridiculous number of polygons for that. And you know just so you're aware, they did mention at the end of it what they were running that thing on. They were running on like an i13 with a 4090. That's like I think that system is like probably a $10,000 kind of system. So it's definitely out of reach for 99.9% of people out there to have such a rig. So it's awesome. It was just like the kind of the that city thing they had. You're not gonna run it well on a medium machine. You need something that's powerful to run that kind of stuff. So that's why that's why I'm holding out to upgrade to, or like trying to save money to buy an updated video card, because I think the 1070 is in that mid to low end place where most people have their machines. If I can target this range and have it run good, then on a better machine it's gonna run really nice, and on a lower machine it's still gonna run. But yeah, that demo it was impressive. I loved it. It was but the one that I'm really impressed with was that procedural kind of foliage stuff. Wasn't the car. The car was fun, like having that fancy material setup. It's also nice, but I'm interested more in the procedural stuff, and not so much the car, because you're not gonna see that unless you kind of you working on a car simulation type of thing. Okay, so kind of that's my 2 cents. But anyways, so let's take a look at some of the changes that I've made. One thing is how you look at your wrist device. So I've changed that to be more of I don't have it on my wrist anymore, and now you just kind of pick it from the back and look at it this way. So I felt that it was a little bit more natural, and I'll show you the second reason why I wanted to do it this way. Because in the end, it's still kind of the same way of looking at it. It's just a different way of equipping it. So that's the only difference. Now with the car, let's get into the car. So what the car has, it also has a GPS, and that one is also tied to where you need to go. and um, and that's why I wanted to remove it, to not have it attached to the hand anymore, because you would see this one here and the one on the hand, so it was kind of a little bit redundant. I didn't really like the look of it, and also, it didn't really feel like, with cars nowadays, and I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep this particular model. If I can find something that might look a little bit different, kind of more like an in-car GPS, maybe I'll try and use that. Um, Also, for the little tablet, it could be, I could maybe use it as a phone. Um, so that could be another idea, to just keep this as the in-car GPS, and then the one that you look at is going to be just a phone or something like that. To where this would be displayed. I kind of like this one because it's got a big screen as well, so it kind of it kind of feels like a big device, and you know I do like this kind of not pixelated, but like the font, the retro font type thing. So now the GPS works. You can get a little bit of an idea of your current mission, and I took away the player specific items on it. So this one's a separate. This is a child class of the wrist tablet, and that's why I might want to just keep that tablet as is. Okay, so we're driving, and this is what I was saying, that it's not this particular model looks great because it doesn't have any indicia, like any kind of brand specific, like a brand specific vehicle. The inside looks really good, and you have all the functionalities on here, like the steering, the speedometer, and everything else. And of course, you also have the mirrors, which I was playing around with it earlier, and I was just trying to see if I can knock into things and stuff. So that's kind of cool to have that with Lumen. Okay, so the other item that I've worked on is this little area down here. And you'll probably notice that thing happening on top of the. I forgot to actually turn off decals on this particular mesh, so that's why there's like all this kind of if you can see, like now when I'm backing up, there's all this kind of dirt that's on top of that. Well, that's actually from like all this stuff. These are just decals, like this dirt that's kind of coming into the street. So that's just a little bit of decals. Alright, so another area that I've worked on is this here. So I was kind of I wanted to the kind of just to complete the world a little bit. There's like an electrical substation down here, and so let's just drive over to it. And unfortunately, I forgot to actually to load it when I loaded the level itself. Yeah, so there's also, like, the car itself also has an outside camera, and currently I'm not controlling the camera itself to like look around. It's just really just attached to the vehicle. So that's why it's like, if you yeah, the car has sounds. I just turned down the volume. Let me turn it up a little bit, and let me know if you can hear over the microphone. It might be a little not loud enough. Actually, one second. Let me see if I can turn on the audio from the desktop, and if it's too loud, hopefully I'm not gonna make anybody deaf. But so let me know if you can hear it. Okay, perfect. Let me turn it down a little bit because it's a little loud. So yeah, like I said, the car also has like an exterior camera, which I'm debating whether I should keep or not. But yeah, this is one of the differences, like between a really complicated probably model like Epic was having for their Rivian, and this one is not going to be, like there's, let me see if I can find like something that has collision that I can drive over. It doesn't have that kind of a responsiveness. It's like, see, yeah, there it goes. It's kind of like, um, you can get it unstuck, but there's definitely a lot of other settings that I'm gonna be needing to, and it seems to be going through the floor. There's quite a few other settings that I'm gonna need to tweak for this particular vehicle to make it look, because right now, yeah, see, it gets stuck really easy, and it drives pretty well. There's definitely kind of some issues with it, but kind of the wheel turning is just a little too rough, and but other than that, it sort of works. There's I'm not sure. You need to. I don't think it's a chaos vehicle. The thing is, with the latest, Rodney, welcome. Um, the thing with it is, in order to have vehicles in Unreal Engine 5, this is another thing that I do not understand, designers or developers of the engine. You need to turn on the experimental chaos vehicle. It's not like what it used to be in Unreal Engine 4. The chaos vehicle replaced the vehicle system that they had, or it looks like that. Which is doesn't really make sense to me, but what do I know? Yeah, so as I was saying, so this is one of the things that I've added. Now the other thing is, and I was oh, okay. Hey, heavens, Rodney. Okay, welcome. So yeah, the other thing that, as I was and you'll see, there's kind of, just because I didn't load the other level with the smaller houses, the the other thing that you never really, yeah, so this is kind of one of the issues, that this is just handling like a brick. The other issue that I ran into when I was working with the vehicle is, well, what happens if you drive into water? You know, and so let's drive into water. I'm not sure if I have a water volume in the world, but let me figure that out if I do, because if you recall, the player can swim, right, in the game, but like, so as I was testing it out, as I was testing the vehicle out, I realized that, well, what happens if the player drives into the water? So let me add a water actor here. And I'm gonna delete this one. So let's place this water actor in here. 20. I think that should cover it. I need to address the material, because the material has got this kind of a not sure why this one in particular. I think that plane was looking okay. No. Yeah, so I think the material has some issues with lumen, so I need to replace it with my own material. This is the one from the original developer of the Nordic conifer biome, but yeah, I'm not sure if it might have gotten updated in latest releases, but anyways, so I'll need to fix that. So let's see what happens when you when you drive your car into the pond. Alright, so I'm gonna try and make this one so it covers the or like covers this pothole here, and let's drive into the water. So I was playing around in my test level with it, and I didn't even think about it, but by mistake I drove into one of those little holes that I've dug to test out swimming, and nothing happened. You you stay you got left in the car, which is not what it's supposed to happen, right? So let's drive into the lake. So are you going to improve car reaction to environment or configure the environment for the car? No, I think I'm gonna do the car because it's and you know the car is almost there. It's not perfect. Like I said, you know, it wasn't. It was, you know, probably made as a starting point, you know, for things. So I'm not sure if it was made to be perfect to begin with, but oh yeah yeah yeah. Come on, stop. I'm wilding out here. The one thing that I'm still trying to figure out is the vegetation coming through the car. Um, and I'm probably gonna try and do like one of those things, and it's gonna be a kind of an interesting one because the I was thinking of using the render custom depth for the vehicle interior, but then I'm not entirely sure what's gonna happen. How are everything else gonna be rendered? Like, is the steering wheel gonna be rendered on top of the hands? And I'm gonna try and see if I can just do the interior and separate the steering wheel from it. Hey Miles, welcome. And that's one of the things, you know, when you think of when you think of vehicles in games, like you don't realize how much really goes into vehicles and, you know, properly uh, working vehicles. You know, there's like a ton of stuff that goes into it. I'm trying to figure out where the lake is. I think it might be this way, at least the easiest way to enter the lake. And I think it's actually from the looks of it. Let me see if I can like show stat FPS again and see where am I at. And let me minimize some of these open tabs and see where it's how this one's working out. Alright, so it's working a little bit better. Like I said, for whatever reason it was working a lot better last night. Alright, so now if you drive into the lake, let's see what happens. And there we go. So what happens is you just exit the vehicle, and then you just go into like your regular swimming mode. And yeah, that again, that was one of the things that I didn't think about, and just by accident I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna need to fix this. So now the only thing is, whenever I place a water volume in the world, I need to get the there's like a little parameter that I set on the lake to say the water level, and I need to figure out the level of the terrain around here. And I think it might be, let's see, minus iodine lake. Yeah, exactly. I think it should be under that. All right. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to for the player to kind of just exit out of the vehicle if you so choose to drive the vehicle into the lake. Yeah, so that was another update for the week, along with how you look at the tablet and operating the vehicle. And like I said, the other environment update is this area here where the power station or the substation is going to be. So there's going to be a few missions carried around this place, and there's also going to be a smaller substation that's going to be next to the bunker, and probably we'll work on that today to get that in. So I did some more work. I remember showing you guys last week, and it looks like YouTube has got a giant latency. Not entirely sure where you guys are, what you guys are looking at the moment, but from what I'm seeing on YouTube, like right now as I was showing the substation, the YouTube is still showing me the part with the lake that we were looking at earlier, which is unfortunate. But my apologies uh, for that. Yeah, so as I was saying, there's going to be two more substations like this that there are going to be a couple of missions around them. One of them is going to be, like I said, for the bunker, and another one is going to be for the for that water treatment station. Yeah. So yeah, that was this was another one of an amazing asset off of the marketplace, which was really cheap, and I've just taken its because I've taken its bits and pieces, like the electrical stuff, kind of these insulators which are looking great, this power transfer box here, like all these, there's some really nice looking assets, and it was a really cheap asset on the marketplace, so I was really happy with it. Yeah, so, and the other thing that I had around this, I'm not entirely sure where it might have gone. Did it get moved into a different level, or what the heck? Let's see. Window levels, substation. Oh, there we go. So as you recall, last week I was showing you this IA scatter add-on blueprint, and using that I was also able to create fences. And the cool thing about the add-on is, if you recall, it does do a retrace down to place these, and that's what makes it so awesome, because it follows the terrain. So especially for fencing, I was able to get like a straight fence, and as you can see, the terrain slopes down a little bit over here, so this one is placed a little lower than the rest. And kind of the same goes for let's see, do we have one out here? Yeah, so there's like a little bit of an example here as well, where one is placed a little bit lower. Let's see, what about this one? Yeah, so the same thing goes for, even though it goes through the tree, but the same thing goes for this. So if you have a chance, I highly recommend it. I did get it on the 70% discount that Marketplace had, which was extremely lucky, but the add-on is great. And the other thing that I've created is this kind of if you recall, I had that tutorial with telegraph poles, that you can join, you can link together with other assets in the level. So basically that's how this one's done here with the cables. I'm linking this little transistor system with the telegraph pole here with the small one, and then kind of just moves on to the next one and on to the next one, and the same thing here. And off of this I've created another one that's actually for these kind of bigger transmission wires, the electric pole, and this one works the same way, since this is kind of the end of the line, at least till here. There he goes. So there's like some of them out in the distance over here. And that gives a little bit more of a of a feel that the world is lived in, as well as there's like the little missions that are going to be focused around around the substations. Yeah, so that was another another update on the environment. And one thing that I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, this actually was a pretty fun fun little area to create and add in. So that was always nice. Yeah, so the other thing that I mentioned was I was working on generating the hierarchical LODs for these for this residential area houses. because it's made out of all these pieces, so you want to try and optimize them best you can. And if I go to lit and do a hierarchical LODs, let's see, I'm hoping these got transferred. I hope I saved them properly. So let's see. There we go. So as you can see, with the H LODs, this is one piece here out of, as you can see, and that's one piece there, and that drastically reduced my my draw calls. So therefore the performance, like I was saying, worked a lot better. And again, I don't really have a gauge as to how much this streaming takes out of the performance, but yeah, when I was testing this after I built the HLODs last night, the little playthrough that we were driving the car around, it was running at around 50 frames with Lumen, and 60 plus without. And yeah. Another thing that I wanted to mention for those that are interested, with the car itself, and let's take a quick look at the car because it's somewhat interesting. And what the car is, it's called a wheeled vehicle pawn. So highlight on the pawn because it does receive input once I interact with it, and that's how you drive it around. But the one thing that it does have, and I was playing around with this, is it does have an option to say, where was it? Was it in the class settings or in the default? Nope, not that. Where you can say that it will not receive input. And what that would do is you would have to control the vehicle from your character. And I was playing around with that because I was thinking, maybe it might be a little bit beneficial to set it that way. But then I realized, well, it might be better because the car itself already has a lot of things set up for it. It has the honk, it has the headlights, it has the driving, and I did not want to add those into the player, so I'll just keep everything contained within this class. So basically when you interact with the class, I just possess it, and so literally when I interact with it, I enable input, and then I just possess this particular pawn because it is a pawn in the end. And yeah, it has the cool thing, to open doors, and after that is just kind of the shuffle of the actions to, okay, first of all, set the actor to be where it starts to play the animations. And right now it's not perfect, as you can see. It doesn't really place it right where to grab the handle and open the door. Sometimes kind of the hand goes through the door a little bit. And then with ALS character, just to set the movement mode to none and disable the collision, playing the montage to enter the vehicle. Then I can play the open doors, to open the door. Actually no, so this is the closing doors, because like at first I played it here. So it doesn't have an open and door and a closed door function. They're both called open doors, and it just checks to see if that door is opened. And so yeah, then I'm just doing this function I think I showed you earlier to limit the yaw angles, how far left or right you can look. Attaching the actor, the player, to the car through a socket. And then I'm just setting the ALS anim blueprint to know that it's in vehicle, so therefore apply a particular set of the animation. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of an idea of what's happening with the vehicle. And this was a really fun little bit. Another update, because I was chatting earlier about this eye scatter um, blueprint. One thing that I'm using it for, and you might notice it around here, is placing all these decals on the road. So if I hide this and unhide it, that's another usage for this tool. Besides, just to scatter decals, because it can take a blueprint actor, and that blueprint actor is literally just a set of concrete decals that it on construction, and I can show it to you if you're interested. So it literally just has a decal, and on the construction script I loop through an array of decal materials, which are like some cracks, and yeah, just some random asphalt cracks. So when the IA scatter actually spawns this, it just grabs one at random. So as you can see, there's like a bunch of like this particular one, then there's this one, then there's that one. Let's see what else. This is another little looking different little concrete crack. So yeah, like I said, this particular is extremely useful. I wasn't even thinking of it. It looked really interesting, and yeah, there's some more down here. It looked really interesting when I got it, because like I said, it was on a really big discount, and now that I'm using it, I'm like, okay, it's actually kind of worth uh, the whole money. But yeah, I felt that it was very useful to have. Right. Okay, so let's what I was planning on doing during the stream is to start and hopefully do a little bit more work on the roads and kind of finish them off. I'm still gonna need to these are just from that particular level with the houses. I'm still working on the placements, because I was replacing. I'm still gonna keep some of those houses from that modular home package, and but the ones that are going to be enterable are going to be the ones from that residential house package, and those are the ones floating in the air right now. So I need to place them into their spots. I'm still debating at this point whether to have them all on one level or just have them on their own little level. So for example, this house here is on its own house. I believe it's called house 1, right? So that's one way to keep them contained. On the other hand, it might add a little bit of how should I put this? Kind of, you have to manage that, right? To keep track of okay, I loaded house 1, house 2, house 3, house 4. So I'm debating whether to do that. From the point of building the HLODs, it's a lot easier to manage, because it takes a little bit a lot less. The HLODs, especially if you don't have a multi-core CPU, it does take a lot of processing. So yeah, but it's doable, definitely doable. It might take me probably at least an hour and a half to do this entire level, because it's got a lot of actors. But yeah, like I said, it's very good to have to generate the HLODs. Okay, so I was saying, let's do some of the roads. So I already placed some of them around here to link some of the areas together, and yeah, so as you can see, there's some of them, like that one going up the hill, and this one, these kind of being the two exits out of the world. So I wanted to add another one probably down here going probably towards this end, where I'm going to put another one of the potential exits that are going to be closed. And as I was actually, as I was playing, I keep on mentioning Days Gone, right? So the same thing with Days Gone. At the edges of the map, there's these these tunnels that would take you away, but they're blocked, or there's like some kind of rock fall, or and you know that in that kind of regards. So I've started playing Far Cry 5, and they have the exact same thing. They have the exact same thing um, with blocking the player from going past the edge of the world, right? There's like kind of the cliff, the stone cliff, and then a tunnel that's collapsed, basically. So that's it's used everywhere. Heaven's Disciples, will there be cabins outside of the town? Yes, so there's going to be a couple of little fishing villages. So one of them is going to be down here, right in this area. I was doing it on a previous stream, and I did have run into some issues, like I was saying a while back, with my repository, and I believe they're still there. Let me see if I think I still have them. Let's see. So there's this one here. You know, with some of the residents' vehicles. I think I was showing this a while back when I was starting using 5.1, and I was showing it for the Lumen, just to see how Lumen works in the interiors. Maybe this is not the best angle for this house. Was it looking a little bit better here? I believe so, but I think the post-process might have gotten deleted, so I'll need to look into that. There's also like the light leakage is just because I run it on high. I believe if you switch to cinematic, let's see, will that be gone? And wow, that looks so much better. I have to say, whoever has the machine to run stuff on cinematic, that's awesome. Because you get that kind of look from Lumen. I mean, and not that on high. It looks pretty good on high as well, but cinematic is more, of course, where it's at. So yeah, there's going to be a couple of at least a couple of villages like this. One is going to be down here. One is going to be across the street on this side. Let me see. Can I? Where is that one? Is it this one? Where did I place it? Oh, it's here, but it should have been on the other side of the road. Because I actually moved the road a while back. So this one is going to be kind of around here, and there's going to be another one of these smaller villages that you're going to have to visit, somewhere right around where this other lake is. So right here. Andre, so those purple, if you're referring to these spheres, so these ones down here. All these spheres are procedural blocking volumes. So basically, what they do is, since everything is all the vegetation is procedurally placed, it blocks the procedural component to, and this is not the one that I wanted to select, but it blocks it from placing instances in that area. That's what it does. Hopefully, Andrew, that's what you were asking for, or asking about. Okay. Yeah, so as I was saying, I wanted to do another road going towards this end. And oh, perfect. So hopefully that gave you an answer. Yeah, and as I was saying, let's do this road. And what I'll do is, at the end of it, let's actually create because in a previous stream I started working on that little tunnel, so I wanted to bring that back and finish that off, and actually kind of build it around it, and see how it looks. And we'll also use what I've shown in the previous stream, where with this little IA scatter tool to place some rocks, some big rocks around it, and build up that entrance, kind of showing it that it's blocked, right? Okay, so let's get to it. All right, so let's select this thing. And the more I use splines for the terrain, the more I like them. The more it's like they're so useful. Let's see. So I'm gonna start one there, place one there. Let's see, how do we want to twist in and out for this road? Alright, I think that should be good. It's kind of towards the end of the map. I think I can actually remove this particular node, so there we go. Let's just extend this out because it's going to help with the sculpting. Alright, so we have this other road that takes you to the edge of the map. Let's try and join them together best we can. Alright, and these down here are very powerful, like all the end fall off. Let's turn that down so I can bring these together as best as possible. And also for this one here, I'm gonna use the left and right side fall off. It's always good whenever you put these like these T junctions together to place these control points together, and I'll show you why. So for this one, what I can do is I can do the left side fall off. Let's see which one is left. Left is that one. So okay, let's do the right. So I can do the right fall off really low, so that way I can blend these two together the best way I can. So this is gonna come into it about to there. Let's actually maybe make this a little bit less. Yeah, so that way, you know, I can get these to be to kind of join together as best as possible, because I have control over the fall off from this particular point. Alright, so now let's apply a mesh along with its texture. So select that, then select the segments and spline mesh, and I'm going to apply the mesh to that. There we go. Pretty nice. Pretty quick as well. Now, there's always going to be the little bit of work that might need to be done when it comes to the actual place where they join, because, you know, since it's the same texture, I'm gonna try and make them join together the best possible way. Alright, so as you can see, this one has a pretty I'm gonna adjust the fall off for this one as well. Let's do 3000 maybe. There we go. So we can just make it a little bit like that. Just because that one, it was really actually sculpting the terrain pretty heavily, so that's one of the reasons. And also the other thing that you can do is for these things, you can do a mesh vertical offset to kind of just bring the mesh up a little bit. You don't want to overdo it, because it's, if you're gonna look at it from the side, it might end up looking like it's floating. So it's you know, you don't want to go like 5. You know, like, let's see, 5 might not be too bad in my case, but let's see, if you do it to 50, yeah, see, if you do it too much, it's just gonna be floating above. And sometimes you might not have collisions for this road mesh, you know, and it might look like the player is their feet are through the road. Heaven's Disciples, what was the inspiration for your game? You know what? I think it actually it's gonna sound funny, but I actually dreamed of it. So I had this really vivid dream one night, and that I got up and I'm like, okay, let's jot down this idea. It was pretty broad at the time, but I kind of just went with it, and I kind of created, developed the lore around it a little bit more. Kind of fleshed out some of the main characters, the bad character as well in the game, and the bad entity behind, or like behind what's happening. And so yeah, I've had actually a couple of other ideas that came that way. It's kind of funny, interesting at the same time, but yeah, that's how I ended up with this. uh, oh, was it really? I had no idea. Well, I mean, it is James Cameron, so yeah. Uh, that's I think Terminator. It's one of the franchises that um, I especially the ones that one and two. The other ones were okay-ish, but yeah, one and two being the best out of them all. Um, yeah, those were. I think Terminator 2 is like the best movie. If somebody would ask me, is like, what do you think the best movie is? Yeah, Terminator 2 would definitely come to mind. Okay, well, so we're almost there with this. What I wanted to do is let's actually start doing some painting so we can get rid of um, this vegetation. Yeah, and another update that I've done is I've limited the amount of grass layers. This particular material was very had a pretty and it's now it's not perfect, but this was red, like literally. um, the shader complexity for it was somewhere around here, so I had to scrap a couple of the layers that were not really didn't really make sense. And yeah. uh, oh no way, I have to look that up. Hopefully there's like an interview on it, because that's really cool. Wow. um, oh, and before I go forward, let me do something real quick, because this one right off the bat, the size of it is really big, so let's use 600 for the half width as well. So 600. I'm still gonna look at it from the driving perspective, because if you place the car on the road at this size, um, it looks like the right width, right? And that was one of the things that it's always I'm always trying to be careful with, kind of the scaling. And yeah, so the car looks about right, as far as how big the road is and how big the car is. I think that's a good place to have it. Yeah, I really wonder if there's like an interview with him as to how he came up with like a uh, him telling the story, right? That's kind of cool. All right, let's try and get this in and start painting around here. Yeah, and especially when there's like some of these joint in the streets, I'm just gonna make it a little bit wider for the dirt. That's another thing that I've cleared out. I've replaced the textures for this for the dirt. There used to be like this mixture of these really big stones with some roots, and I didn't really like that to be kind of on the side of the road, and Just felt like it might work a little bit better. Alright, let's paint this side as well. Hey Andre, thank you so much for stopping by. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. If anything comes up, I'll do a community post on YouTube. But have a great evening. Yep, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, so let's continue with um, and another thing that I was experimenting with. Uh, let's finish this first because I'm not I don't want to get scatterbrained, and I'm kind of excited about things. So but as a quick mention is the usage of that scatter tool, because it kind of I keep coming back to it. And the main thing about it is uh, there's going to be areas in the world that are going to be blocked by vegetation of like um, like if you think of the external edge of the world, it's blocked by those clusters of cliffs, and then the vegetation on top of it, just to highlight it. But there's going to be also areas inside of the world where I want to not necessarily direct the player, but not make it so that it looks like you can go into anything. So I want to try and use that tool. I haven't tried it yet, but I was kind of looking at it from that aspect. Well, can I use this to actually block some areas in the world and not just make some rocks, like some giant rocks? So we'll take a look at that, because I think I'm hoping it's going to turn out good. Heaven's Disciples, do you know what animals you will have? Well, yes, the ones that I have currently available that were also part of the free marketplace pack at one point, and those are. Let me share with you what I have. Oops, not Dango full screen. So let me show you kind of some of the. I have a couple of packs of animals, and so one of them is this animal variety pack, which has some deer and just your regular fauna. So it's not going to be like it's not going to be like a PVE, right? Player versus environment, where you got to be careful with the wolves and that kind of stuff. No, it's just going to be like kind of the innocuous type of animals. Maybe like the ones that would scatter away. So not the wolves, not the pigs, but it's going to be something like this. Maybe like some stags, or like some of these deers, and like flocks of birds. And for the birds, there's already the one with that comes with the medieval houses pack from Quixel. They already have like a flock kind of a setup, which I believe worked out pretty, or I think works pretty well last time I recall. So so I'm gonna use the mechanics from that for the um, for the birds. And then the one thing that I do need to work out is yeah, the four-legged creatures and their navigation system. Still debating on how to do that at the moment. Alright, so now that I've painted this road, let's actually where is the spline? Let's make this one with a bigger fall off. 2000, and same for this one. So actually I'm gonna bring this back a little bit. Yeah, well, so that's the thing. There's there's not gonna be. It's not. There's a creepy aspect to the game, but it's not horror like. You know, there's like the actions that these people were doing. Um, that's kind of the ugly side of human nature, I would say. But yeah. All right, so we have this road, and it they did come together really well over here. But let's actually make them join in a more realistic kind of fashion. So for that, I do have a um, a decal that I've been using for whenever we join these roads together, and it's this one down here. Let's I think it's just sunken down. Oh, it's actually not that one. Let's see, where did I put one? Right here should be. There we go. So this road decal already has a pretty decent looking alpha, so it should help me with joining these two roads together because it doesn't have this kind of hard edge that it ends with. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger, just like that. Let's try and kind of match the road signs. There we go. So that blends in pretty well, aside from this corner here, but that can also be addressed. There we go. So that transition is not so bad anymore. And I'm gonna add a little bit of a patch on here just to help with that. There we go. So this one I can actually pull it forward a little bit so it also blocks the the stripe that keeps on going on the side of the road here. It's actually a little bit more. Alright, there we go. Nice. So that works. And since we're doing this, I'm gonna continue on with this IA scatter tool to bring the some of those cracked decals along the road. So as you can see, just like that. And you know, the nice thing about it is that you can increase the number of instances, and that's gonna work out really nice. I don't have to place them by hand, which is extremely helpful. A cornfield maze too. Yeah, that'd be interesting. That'd be interesting. Alright, let's kind of keep on moving this down the road. Yeah, so as you can see, they get placed pretty nicely. You know, they could be pretty random. You know, so it's you know, I'm still working out the particular decals that I'm setting down here. So, all right, I can end that there. Let's focus on this this join here. Try and grab the stop decal. Let's see, material instance. Just place that down there. This is from Quixel if anybody's interested. Alright, the one thing that I don't have, but I do believe I have one of those packets that was free on the marketplace way back to get like street signs. I don't recall having any of them at the moment downloaded to my project. So let's see. So I have something like this. There's one. um, not sure if I have other ones. Oh yeah, yeah. There we go. There we go. That's uh, it's definitely useful to have. You know, this kind of just a winding road, of course. But I don't know if I have. Let's see. Do I have anything for like speed signs or I do have some direction signs, not the best quality. There's some road close signs which I'm going to use particular on this road because it's going into of course into that collapsed tunnel. But let's see. Okay, so I have one of these which is which could be useful. Let's see what else. Yeah, so these are really, you know, kind of brand newish. They're a little too clean. I do like this one, which is a little bit worn. But let's see. I do have a speed limit. Okay, so we can use this one. I have a, and then the T junction, which is going to be used for here. That's great. Let's see. I do have another one of these. I might use this one instead of this. And then the speed sign, there we go, we have a speed sign. Alright, well we have some, we have a few of them. I can get rid of this and I can use this one and this one and this one across the world. I'm gonna actually move those into the map level. Let me select that level because we're working on that at the moment. Just gonna do a quick save just because. Alright, let's move that into that level along with this one and this one. But yeah, the one thing that I can't seem to find is one that has a stop on it. Which really I don't have one of those. Okay, well I'll try and find one. Like I said, I do have some of so many from these monthly free packages. There's so many of them that I have that I'm bound to have to find one. Let me turn off decals on these. Did not receive decals. There we go. And this one can be placed. Let's actually try and do it like that. Somewhere around here. There we go. And this one maybe somewhere around there. Oh wait, which one did I place? Oh yeah, I think so. I said I was gonna go with this one. Hey, Funky Pants, welcome, welcome, welcome. Alright, actually I can use that to put it on the other side of the road. Right about there. There we go, almost there. So what I'm doing is, if you haven't heard me mentioning before, when you press end, it will just place it right on top of the surface. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it's a pretty decent texture. I've added like a little bit of a detail normal to it. And I think once you add the decals, and I was talking about this earlier, I'm using that IA scatter tool that I shown last week to place decals along the road, so I don't have to do them manually. And it just places some random decals. Like here, you know, it's not too random, I guess, but yeah, I can just extend this spline because it's on a spline, so I can you know, continue on with it, and there's more being placed there, which is really cool. I don't have to I only have to like extend the spline across the street to place these decals. So there we go. They do break up the surface pretty well. Right now I've only put in like these cracks looking decals, but I do want to replace probably one of them with like a patch, or even add more, you know, because I do have a few other ones, but this again was just done pretty quick to prototype it and see how it looks. But yeah. Oh, of course, of course. Let me save this, and what I'll do is I'll actually jump in the car and drive down here and show it to you up close. Let me, and we'll see how the signs look on the road as well. That would be a good test of the road signage. How do some people refer to them? They're just suggestions. Alright, so I'm gonna try and put this to the side right there. And let's also paint this road. So I'm not running over vegetation, right? Let's do paint the path, which does not have any terrain, any landscape grass assigned to it. Let's see, did that remove all of them? Looks like it did. Oh, there's some more down here. Alright, and I believe that's it. Okay. Let me just raise this up a little more. See, like this is what might happen, and what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna try and spin it around because I think I'm just doing, it's a little bit too abrupt. Let's try and just lift it up a little bit like that. There we go. That seems to be a little bit somewhat better. Just to also mention, the nice thing about, as you can see, the nice thing about this spline tool is that since it does that trace down, it places where it hits it. So now if I was to modify the terrain, it still places the decal where I wanted it to be, and I don't have to go in and manually adjust it based on, you know, me changing the terrain, which is, I think it's awesome. Alright, so let's adjust this up a little bit. There we go. Okay, let's jump into the vehicle and drive down to that intersection. I'm just gonna quickly save it. Let's drive. Yeah, so there's still a few things that I need to fix with the vehicle. Like right now, it's got that running sound. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but yeah, so it's running when there's nobody in it. Leaving the house behind. Yeah, so this joint here I need to fix, but whoops, I missed a section here. the rev the revving is kind of like a little bit terrible, so I need to see how I can better address that. Yeah, so as you can see, it kind of, let me turn down the volume. So it does kind of handle a little bit like a brick. So hopefully I'm oh, and I forgot to delete the vegetation. Hopefully I can, let's see, can I weave through these? Oh, good. Alright, so let's get out of the vehicle. Okay, so yeah, Funky Pants, this is how it looks up close. Not sure what's going on with that decal. Good thing it's a 4x4. Yeah, exactly. I think it's a 4x4. Like I said, I'm not entirely sure how the kind of, because the wheels look like they're from my 2004 Honda Civic, you know, as far as the width. Yeah, so that's how the road looks. And like I said, you know, having that tool for the decal placement works so nice, to have these placed, you know, procedurally and not have to do it manually. I think that's pretty cool to have, you know. And once we remove the trees from the road, it should work a lot better. Um, So let's see, I think this is where it kind of ends. Oh no, there's like another one here. Yeah, so see, this is just placed procedurally. I didn't have to manually place that. And like I said, once I sculpt it, if I do end up sculpting the terrain some more, or adjusting the positioning of the road, uh, as long as that spline can shoot the ray down and hit the terrain, it's gonna work just fine. Alright, let's clear the vegetation as well for this stretch of road, and then we'll jump into doing the tunnel at the end of this, along with kind of the border meshes, and see how that's going to turn out. I'm debating whether to do it here. We'll probably do it there, because it's a place that you can reach. So hey Ilya, welcome. Appreciate you joining the stream. I'm happy you. Hopefully you find something useful in it as well, and that's why, you know, pretty much that's why I do it. Okay, let's unhide the vegetation and start removing some of this stuff, because it's just too much. Let's select everything. Alright, there we go. So now I can just kind of start chopping away. Heavens, I think you might have mentioned, oops, not that, I didn't want to paint, I wanted to delete. You might have mentioned, and something that I'm planning on doing is having, you know, I'm debating whether I'm gonna go with some blocking volumes, some foliage blocking volumes for the areas where the street is. I'm still I'm definitely considering it. It's just really easy to just do it. Oh, come on, to just do it manually as well. So it's not too big of a deal, and I actually enjoy doing it so this way as well. Because the one thing is, as you just noticed, there's these fallen trees that are kind of lengthwise sitting on the road. So those might get placed with the procedural with the blocking volumes in place as well. So that's, you know, I might still have to go back and kind of adjust to it, but I yeah, I do like just going in and doing the forestry work. So Funky Pants, yeah, well, actually, it's kind of interesting you mentioned this. Like right now, there's I have a lot of all the levels that I'm showing in my world. And let me do this real quick. Yeah, manual editing is fun. So let's do a stat RHI. So right now, let's do this. So when I tested it last night without streaming, it was running at around between 45 and 50 frames per second with Lumen turned on. And this is on I think it's maybe now closing in on 6 years old 1070. So one of the first generation 1070. Um, so yeah, it's without if you turn off Lumen. Let's see if I do this. So as you can see, the frames is going up quite a bit. The other thing, as you can see that little message in the top left corner here, I have yet to rebuild the HLOD clusters, which should also bring up the performance even more. Well, so no, I'm definitely gonna have Lumen because let me turn that on. So the player menu does have an option to turn Lumen on or off. So I'll show it. I'm not sure if I've shown that yet, but I'll show that to you. All right, let's continue on with because as we were discussing with Heaven's Disciples, this is pretty fun to have. Yes, yeah. So foliage is rendered as instances, and you know there's quite it. I can definitely and even with the foliage, I can optimize it quite a lot more. Right now, I'm still using almost all of the fir trees from the developer of this Nordic conifer biome, and if I think about it, if I can remove at least 3 or 4 of these, and I can you know, scratch off a few extra hundreds of draw calls. But so far so good. You know, I'm quite satisfied with the performance. And this is, you know, before, like I said, running the. Oh, come on! Why am I pressing that so oddly? Um, Before starting to optimize with the H loads and all that. You know, and that's an interesting thing. Like, none of these meshes are nanite, and I'm okay with that. um, I don't think like nanite is the solve everything kind of a tool. To be honest with you, I think um, man, I think my mouse is like dying here or something. When I release the button, it just keeps on. It still takes a click. But yeah, nanite foliage should be pretty nice to have, and you know, it might end up being used heavily for like cinematics and that kind of stuff, or like look a pretty picture type of Instagram stuff. But I'm curious as to the game usage for it as well. Let's see. Okay, that's looking pretty clean now for most of the road. There's still some stuff kind of growing on the side, and we've reached the end of it here. I think this is where I'm gonna start working on the edge of the map. Let's see, we can clean up a little bit more around here. this one. Alright, there's the whole street join there. Yeah, so this is one of the things that I was referring to, Heaven's Disciples, as these trees that are kind of hanging down on the road, that their placement is way back here. So it wouldn't the foliage blocking volume would not affect these guys being placed. Oh yeah, for a space game I can see that totally. Um, so have Helion, what do you think of the MetaHuman animated segment? You know what? So that's the one segment that I did not get around to see. My week was a little bit busy at work, so I didn't get to see everything from GDC. But I'll definitely, I hope I'll be able to get it to watch it over the weekend. If it's anything like that car driving experience, I'm all for it. um, Oh, so heavens, I'm definitely gonna. I do have, I believe, nanite turned on the vegetation that I currently have, because you can enable nanite for any mesh, right? At least to my knowledge. Now the thing is, I'm not sure if I've noticed. I haven't tried it as much to be able to tell what the performance difference is. So stay tuned. I'll definitely look into that a little bit more. You know, um, but I totally get what you're saying, Funky Pants. It's um, you know, if the game is not optimized well, I'm not sure. Nanite will probably help, but yeah, I think you got to start with thinking of having things optimized to begin with. And like I said, uh, I'm not I'm not targeting 3090, folks with a 3090, right? So I'm trying to have people that have a mid-level kind of machine run it well, and which would make it for somebody with a lower end machine be able to run it. Probably not perfectly, but or 4090. Well, so that's what we were discussing earlier. They did, and I did like that. At the end of that card demo, they did mention the rig that they were running it on, and I'm not entirely sure of pricing nowadays, but they did mention an i13 and a 4090. So if you only take those alone without everything else attached to it, that's probably 3 to 4 grand. And once you have everything else attached to it, the rig that they were running that thing on, it's an expensive one. I can tell you right now. So it's also a matter of your target, right? Because what I would love to have the graphics that are on that can run on a 4090. I also know that that's a less than 1% of PC users out there kind of video card. So you have to also try and have like the audience have it be usable by others. Okay, this road is starting to look like a road and not something that's that somebody paved over vegetation correctly. Let's just, I'm gonna try and bring this one up a little bit because I'm seeing some ground beneath it. So maybe 2, that works. That's good. There we go. Alright, so going down this road works out pretty well as well. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's try and to end the stream, let's build the kind of the end of this road, right, where kind of the map would end. So that should be pretty fun. That's going to be a little bit more of a today it's been a bit more of a stream for the level design, and I think tomorrow we'll continue on with the level design theme as well. Yeah, let's bring in, I do have some really cool looking asset here that I've used before, and oh, the one thing that I do not recall is if this one is like a subway tunnel, and the walls, I mean, it's a really nice looking asset. The one thing I don't recall is the scale of it. So let's take a look. And so we have this the mesh here, and it would definitely fit the tunnel bill. But I'm also trying to look at it from the scaling aspect. So there's also a blueprint with the full tunnel, which is awesome. This is from Decagon, if anybody is interested. I believe it was, if I'm not mistaken, it was free at one point, which is yay in my book. Oh, Funky Pants, you didn't forget about that. I have not finished it yet. I'm still because I'm probably gonna move it. It's not gonna be. I was trying to look at it from different aspects of things. So let's just put a little break in here. I want to answer Funky Pants' questions because it's a good one. The trapdoor, I put it down that hallway. Now, one of the pieces with that was where you interact with it from. So are you going to interact from it from the front entrance of the house or from the kitchen? If you recall the house itself, the kitchen was in the back of the house. So that would change your interaction point. And I wanted to place it, I wanted to move the trapdoor and put it in a corner. I wanted to put it in a corner because that way you can only interact from one side, you know. And that's something that thank you for bringing that up, because we'll look at that tomorrow, and we'll finish that off and work on the basement maybe, you know, because it's, you know, like I said, it's a design part of thing. So we'll do the placement. I'll work on the best place where to put it so it's against the wall, and you only open it from one end, right? You don't yeah. So let me show you real quick. I'm just gonna jump out of here and let's go into the village. Where is that house? Where is it? Right here. So where I'm gonna place it, I wanted to place it right here, right underneath this carpet. So basically the carpet is going to go to the side, you're going to interact with it, and then your interaction point, you know, you're not going to have to be like, okay, I'm going to interact, whoops, come on, I'm going to interact from this end, which is going to be different than interacting from this end. So it's kind of, you know, it's removing a lot of trouble that I might have, That's the main thing. And so placing it right here, the carpet would move to this side, then the door would kind of open like this and open to the wall. So that way you only have an interact from one side with it. So that's the main thing, because it's kind of like with the door, right? Like with a regular door, you can only interact from that side or from this side, because it's sitting vertical, so it doesn't give you too many ways to interact. But something that's on the floor, you could potentially interact with it from multiple sides, and I don't want that. It might just cause headache. Yeah. So that was the main thing that I was kind of trying to consider over the week as well. But thank you so much for bringing that up, and we'll definitely look at it tomorrow because it's a fun little thing. Okay, so this is the section that I have, and let's see. I'm gonna use this one at least for scaling at first. Alright, so let's see, probably about to there. That could be a good scale for it. Let's remove this. And since I already have the spline in here, I'm gonna drive it forward a little bit just to kind of go inside of the tunnel. So let's add another point to it, and let me hide the vegetation real quick since we're here, just to give us a little bit of a easier way to manage these. Alright, so let's try and place them on the same line, and let's try and grab this stuff. So negative 40, 50. I'm gonna try and just place them on some values that I can easily copy, and 60, 8, 50. Alright, so we're gonna have 60, 8, 50 here, and 182320, 182320, and let's pull it forward like that, and then the height is negative 40, 50. So negative 40, 50. So in theory that should be straight coming out of that, and let's change the, whoa, what the heck just happened? I don't want that. Let's see, this one has a negative 5. Let's put that at 0, and then 125, so 0 and 125. There we go. And it's still not, oh yeah, so I need to place it here. What the heck? I'm trying to set this straight. Come on, work with me. That's straight enough, I think. It's definitely not perfect, but it's almost there. So we're on the X. Oh, so the X is gonna be forward, but I'm gonna need to grab this, and let's try it here. This is such a headache. Alright, we'll just leave it like that. Okay, so that's kind of gonna be the going inside of the tunnel. Now let's do the placement for the tunnel pieces. And I actually like this to be at a value that I can control, and I don't want to have some kind of odd looking numbers. So let's try and fix the little spline a little bit better to fit it in the go. I think that works a little bit better than before. Alright, that's kind of a straight line. I'm okay with that. Alright, so we got the tunnel entrance. I'm going to duplicate this. And let's see, it's on the x-axis, so let's try and make it so it's on the grid. Since the scaling is not and this is one of the things that the grid is so awesome, you know, but you have to keep the scaling also to fit. So this one is at 217. I'm gonna try and put it at 2 before I move these along. So hopefully this should come together like right in the same spot. There it goes. Nice. Okay. So we have the tunnel entrance. Let's build everything around it, like the you know, put some cliffs, maybe sculpt the terrain, and do some of that. Okay. Well, one of the I've actually got one more cliff from Quixel, and that's one thing that I believe I might have shown last week. It's this kind of closed cliff. It's a pretty massive cliff, and what I did is I've created this detail material that is using the same textures as some of the other cliffs, same base color like some other cliffs in the world, and so they all kind of have the same textures. And I think this one might have gotten its detail messed up, so I guess I need to go back and fix that. But we'll use this particular cliff for where my exit is here, and this is also a really good one to use as an edging. And if you remember, we used that scatter tool to create an edge using these giant cliffs. So I'm gonna do just that. And let's make some changes. I want to put this to be on a spline, just like that. And let's kind of go with the terrain. Oh, that's not the lookout target that I wanted, but this is the point of the spline. There we go, just like that. So as you can see, we're just working out that that edge going along the terrain somewhere around here. Just make sure that those spline points are above the terrain. So there we go, that's one of them. That's just the start. Let's adjust this a little more. And this is such a fun tool to work with, I have to say. Okay, well, what do we have here? There's so many settings. I love it. Alright, let's change some of the rotation. Let's do to or maybe 120. Let's make it so that there's kind of some of them are like twisted or turned. And that didn't really take too much. Let's also align to normal, so it's sitting on the surface like that. That's good. There's some random rotations thrown in there for some of them. That's nice. Alright, let's adjust the scaling as well. So the scaling, I'm gonna do I'm gonna start at 1 and go to 2. Let's play around with this is still something that I'm experimenting with, this kind of ratio here. And let's ignore self. trace complex. I'm gonna try using that as well, though that's not spawning on itself, which I don't want to. Let's reduce the number of instances. And I believe there was a slope where I can as how you can place them, because I don't want this to happen like here, you know, where this one is just it's probably against the normal, but it's just floating in the air oddly, which I don't want. The scaling is looking pretty good. Let's see if we can help with it. I've been testing with this overlapping method 2. Seems to work decent, but there's still items that get spawned on top of each other, like this one here. Let's see, can we also increase the spread? Because this is a pretty big mesh, so I'm gonna try and see if I can get it to work a little bit better. Now, of course, this is the thing that I was able to get real quick off of the marketplace, and or you know, off of the bridge, off of Quixel bridge. So just bringing that in here. Let's see, what else can we add to it? There's still some adjustment to be made to close these spaces off. And of course, what I wanted to do is not close them off. I kind of like having little openings here, so that way the player can actually walk in this space here, and of course they're gonna end up being blocked. But so it's not a complete, just a solid straight wall going up and down. And you know, lucky accidents like this are pretty nice. Alright, let's adjust the scaling a little bit more. This is something that I've been playing also with, so I think having them as at 1 kept them consistent. So there is, you know, bigger ones, smaller ones. Alright, there we go. Let's also sync them into the terrain a little more. Where's the location? Location here. So I'm gonna do, let's start at -200. Could actually go a little higher, -300 to -500. Okay, that's a little bit better. That's a lot better. Alright, and maybe play with the scaling. 1, 2, 3. There we go. They look pretty good. So I'm gonna just try and smooth out the terrain a little bit, because this particular point here is kind of looking a little off. The other thing that I can do is I can sync this point a little lower, so there's nothing spawning there, but I think maybe sculpting the terrain so there's not a lot of you know, kind of the angle of the normal between this one and this one is not so big. Well, so actually, that's a great point. I am not entirely sure if it would make any difference, to be honest with you. It's just gonna try and spawn it between these two. If you think of the math, definitely -500. Let's see if it actually does any better. Let me do -500 and do -300. Yeah, so it's kind of the same thing, I would say. But that's a great suggestion. Alright, so let's do a little bit of smoothing, and I'm gonna try and make this a little bit bigger. Excuse me. Alright, let's see, how can we get this to smooth a little more. I think it's already been pretty smooth out, so I think the best case here would be to use a ramp. Let's see, can we get this one? I'm not entirely sure how this one is just plopped inside of the other. Funky Pants, thank you so much for asking. Well, so I'm hoping to it's definitely gonna be a while. You know, there's gonna be a little bit more. You know, quite a few more things that I need to add. From the mechanics standpoint, the game is almost there. I just need to refine the combat a little bit more in terms of like the enemies. Like right now, the enemies will like chase you, fire at you, patrol if they can't see you. They'd be distracted by things you throw. But there's still some stuff that I need to refine. I'm hoping to get a demo out within the next few months, hopefully by the summer, and that's why I'm trying to work out on building the world, and getting at least a few missions in there. So yeah, a lot of it is also based on my work schedule. You know, there's weeks that I have I'm able to work on things a little bit more, and weeks when I'm not. So that's you know, that also plays into things. But the one thing that I don't want to do is I don't want to you know, is there like the saying over promise and under deliver? You know, like I don't want to tell folks that oh yeah, it's gonna be ready and you know, definitely released on this date, and then you know you know, just have something that's not that I'm not happy with. Hope that makes sense. Thank you so much. Alright, there we go. So right now that's a pretty good placement, I think. Let's sculpt the terrain behind it, so that way all the vegetation that's sitting here is gonna be lifted up here. And I'm gonna go here and flatten. And I don't have any point that's kind of that high. Let's see. I can actually just flatten this one and just move the spline afterwards. But let's do 2000. Would that be too high? Turn down the strength here. Let's sculpt it up. And also the fall off, bring that up a little more. Okay, that's a little bit better. So let's sculpt all these areas back here, just like so. And also some of this stuff. And I'm gonna keep the lake because that's a nice kind of natural formation that I can set the back of it with another one of these cliffs and just limit the player that way as well. But another usage that I am envisioning for this tool, for this scatter, is the placement of vegetation clusters. So I'm thinking of, you know, like a couple of, you know, some fir trees that are surrounded by some rocks on the ground, and then by some you know, kind of a bigger trees in the middle. So having some of these clusters placed here and here, you know, kind of alongside this edge would also help with signifying, you know, that this is kind of a, you know, it's you know, to people that know it's the end of the map. But and that's one of the things that I'm still working on to figure out the settings a little bit better. I'm still you know, I'm still, you know, this tool is still somewhat new to me. And Hopefully I'll show that tomorrow, because it's a pretty interesting usage of the tool. Okay, so now that I have this, I'm going to try and use it on this edge as well along the lake. Let's see how this is going to look. Funky Pants, usually when it comes to cliff size, I put my character down, play the game to see how big the cliff is compared to other things on the map. Yeah, so that's a great point. A great way to do it. What I did it, the way that I scaled it is pretty much based on this this entrance here. So based on the kind of, I already have a scaling for the 2-lane road, and then kind of the tunnel entrance fits that 2-lane road. So based off of that, I'm scaling this. Hey Lukland, welcome. How's it going? Alright, so for this particular one, I'm probably gonna not set it to align to normal, so just to kind of place it like that. And then let's just place these points kind of alongside like that. Yeah, so at least at this point, because it's kind of a quick and dirty placement of things. So yeah. Alright, so here we go, and for these ones I'm gonna try and sink it more into the terrain. Let's see, where's the placement? Let's do -1,000. It could be more, I think. To -600. Alright, that sets them down pretty good. Like that. I can actually go a little more. -1,500 to -1,000. Alright, that works out. There's a couple of holes that I can cover as well. Alright, let's unhide the forest, and once you also unhide the forest, it definitely takes away from from those cliffs, right? So that's the pond right here. This is kind of the pond on one side of it to block you from going forward. With the trees behind it up top. And let's see, I'm just gonna try and clean up some of the trees around along here. Kind of like that. There we go. I'm gonna need to clean these up because I need to place some to do some manual placement for the ones that are on the side of this opening. Yeah, so the players will be able to see the pond from here, and go and swim in it. Well, I guess if you really are inclined to swim in it, but yeah. Okay, so let me do a little bit of painting of some path here, like that. Let's also make the fall off greater here. Side fall off 3,000, like that, and I think I can leave that the way it is. There we go, just a little bit of a slope down there. Let's remove that. Okay, so let's do a little bit of manual placement for the rest of this. The one thing that I do need to do is I need to create an outer edge for this, and somehow, for whatever reason, I kind of think that I might have done that already. in a previous stream. I'm just thinking that I might have. Let me see if I already have that in, because that would save me some time and just getting that in. Let's see, where would that be at? Meshes. Oh, there it is. I have created one of those before. Nice. There we go. So it's going to be the size of just to kind of place it right here at the tunnel entrance. So Funky Pants, did you put trash near the houses road? Oh, of course, and that's why again I'm planning to use that that scatter tool that I just shown you. That's going to be a usage for it. But yes, there's going to be like some of those earthly um, types of items that are going to be around, of course. Yep. Alright, so we have something to fit in that entrance. Let me see, where is the material for this? Here, to apply it to this guy. There we go. It's not the perfect, it's kind of just still, you know, there's still some issues with UV unwrap, but it was something that I made real quick on a previous stream. So for now it's just gonna, it's kind of the size and scale that I wanted it to. So for now it's just gonna have to work the way it is. Alright, so let's do this one to kind of place it right above the entrance. Kind of like this. Let's see, is it peering through? Yes, it is. I don't want it to do that. Let me hide the vegetation real quick so I can work a little bit easier with it. The mesh is a little flatter on this side, so let's try and use that. Kind of like that. Okay, so it's not really coming through. It's only this this guy here that is there we go, that's better. Oh yeah, I'm definitely liking Lumen. Alright, let's put another one kind of about there. Okay, that closes the entrance pretty good. I'm not sure of what I should do. I should cut this side of the thing. It will crush the tunnel entrance. Well, if you've seen, like, there's quite a lot of tunnels that are are driven into rock. So if you think of a mountain face, right? It's not like the rocks fell on top of it. Alright, let's get something for the thing here to try and close it off like that. let's sculpt some more of the terrain behind it. And up you go to about there maybe. And let's flatten it out, try and flatten it out and see how that's going to turn out, at least with this peak here. And the one thing that I did add with this is I've added a visibility mask, so we should be able to paint through it. And let's do 3400. Tunnel built into cliff. There you go. Well, as I was saying earlier, I was playing earlier in the week. I played some Far Cry 5, and this is also the way they do they block out the exit from the map, you know, and it is right into a cliff. Or, you know, like a mountain, the side of a mountain. I mean, if you look at, I think if you just Google Switzerland or like Switzerland tunnels, and you might find something like that. Alright, so I'm gonna try and put this a little bit in the ground like that. There we go. Pretty good. Come on, a little more. There. Okay. So back here, I'm still debating how far back I'm gonna push this tunnel, because I'm not gonna have, if I cut a hole in the terrain, I'm not going to be able to use the road spline. I mean, not that that would be a problem. I can just go with the mesh, but yeah, let's see how that looks. It's a pretty good place. Well, yeah. So there's going to be like a collapse towards the end of it. You know, not like right at the entrance, but a little farther in. So just like that, and kind of if you remember the way I had the bunker, one of the bunker mining shaft, like that one being blocked, is similar to that. Alright, so this one looks pretty decent. There's still, I guess, some things that I can fix with the spline here to have a little bit of a better placement for these. Okay, that's a little bit better that way. Not too shabby for procedural stuff. And down here I can potentially use one of these bigger items to just set it at the foothills. And you know, having one of these kind of big cliffs, like that, you know, you get the trees at the top, and I need to work out and fix however they did this this billboard. I'm not sure what's going on with it. Why from this angle it looks like you're looking up. It looks fine here, but then if you look up at it, it's pretty bad. Yeah, well, so that's the one material that I have, or like that it has. This is definitely not the best water. I have a material that I've made a while back, and I haven't visited that in a while. So let's try and apply that as we end the stream here. So let's see, water, lake. What did I call it? And actually, funny enough, I was using that. in the little road to the here. I think this might look a little bit better. Let's try this out, see how this works. Alright, it's that's all too dark. Let me try a different version of it. Let's try and adjust the coloring for it. Yeah, I just need to. The one thing that that I don't have is I need to make the road signs, you know, for the roads. So I have them written down in a document somewhere here. Okay, let's see what could work out as a better color for this pond, if I can. How about that blue? Getting good water is like, it's tough, right? I'm not sure what would be. Okay, well I think that looks quite a bit better. You know, so I was thinking of that, but yeah, that's actually a good suggestion. I kind of um, uh, kept stalling on using that water body. I think I've used it once and I was disappointed with it, and I just was, oh, you know what? Never mind. I don't like this. I think I went into that kind of mindset, and that's why I never tried it afterwards. So, but this might be a good time to give it a try. You know, you're probably right. Yeah. Okay. So that looks pretty decent, I think, at least for the time being. Hello, Severin. Welcome, welcome. Well, I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I was just about to end the stream. Um, oh, nice. Okay, Funky Pants. You know what? You got it. What I'll do tonight is I'll look into that into the water body. Tell you what, and tomorrow we'll continue on with some of the design elements to work on. We'll start with looking at the water body, and I'll um, I'll also do work on that trapdoor in the basement for the house. So I think that's a good plan for tomorrow. I'll jot that down. But yeah, I'll see how that water body looks, and hopefully it works out really well. Same time tomorrow, 12 p.m. Or noon time Eastern. So that should make it 12. Yeah, so 12 p.m. my time. Right now it's 2:26 Eastern time, and so that would make it for folks in Europe. I'm not sure if it's if daylight savings times got applied. I think they might have. So that would make it 5 p.m. GMT. Okay. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope you can make it as well, Funky Pants. Hope everybody else can. And yeah, and we'll play with some of the water bodies. I'll see what I can work out with that one, and finish off the trap door, kind of pulling the carpet aside, opening the trap door, going into the basement, and building out that basement as well, or crawl space. Because I do have some items. I have some like a water tank and stuff that can go in the basement. Should fill it out nicely. Okay. Well, with that said, thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope to see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day. All right, take care, everybody.